I'm so content with sitting on the sidelines, right? I haven't traded since the election, and I'm okay with that. When you are a trader, one of the things you must realize is that part of trading is not doing anything, waiting until your signals come. Welcome to the OVTLYR Trading Room. My name is Chris Fuel. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where we save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. But before we start trading, let's get into the lesson of the day. All right, don't forget to stick around to see how we rate this out of 10. Everybody gets to rank it out of 10. So this video is called AMD Stock Investors Should Know What Happened at CES 2025. I have a friend who is actually at CES right now, and I just texted him a little while ago to ask what he's been looking at, what he's been seeing, what he's been doing. So curious to see what this video is about. What happened with AMD at CES 2025?
Been the struggle with regards to the AMD chips, right? The name. Every time the name changes, and even when we are used to a new name, they start adding even more numbers and more letters. I know this is not an AMD chip. This was a Samsung memory thing that I replaced from an old laptop. Anyways, let's talk about AMD's announcement at the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES. Now, throughout the day, AMD stock actually held up quite nicely. It was up 3.3%.
Let's take a look at AMD stock real quick. Oh, AMD stock has been on a real sell-off lately, hasn't it? We went over a video a couple of weeks ago how somebody was saying, buy AMD, buy the most of it you ever could. And from the low to where we're at now, it's up about 8%. I guess that's pretty good, right? But I mean, this is the most clear downtrend you could ever see, right? You've got the 10 EMA, the blue line, under the 20 EMA, which is the black line, under the 50 period EMA, that's the red line there. Right, when those three are pointing in the south direction or the north direction, that's your trend right there. And AMD has definitely been on a pretty bad sell-off over the last several months there. In fact, when was that? October to now it's been selling off, but really this peak came in July. And if we go back even further, looks like 52-week highs happened in March and just hasn't recovered ever since then.
Intel actually went down 3%. After hours, the stock is basically flat, even after the NVIDIA announcements. But of course, the last 3 months, AMD extreme underperformance, down 24.2%. Year on year, the stock is down, 8% or so, 6.5%. And it now has a market cap of $210.2 billion. Still expected to grow quite quickly in the next couple of fiscal years. Of course, we know that the market is expecting a big number when it comes to AI revenue on the next earnings call. The whisper numbers are around $9.5 billion. We know that the AI revenue for 2024 is expected to exceed $5 billion, so the market will probably be happy if they could double that figure in 2025. At the time of making this video, the average analyst price target sits 40% higher than the price we're at today. And
okay, let's take a look at price targets real quick. So I'll make this bigger. I don't know what screener he's looking at here, but it says price target low 145, price target average 182, price target high 250. Currently the stock price is at 128. But if you go into OVTLYR and type in AMD up the top, you'll actually see the analyst ratings up here. And let's take a look at those. I'll expand that. So it looks like last month, Bank of America downgraded it from a buy to a neutral and reduced their price target from 180 to 155. TD Cowen in July of last year initiate a buy from 200 to 210. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of well, I mean, you went from hold to buy, initiate buy, hold to buy, initiate buy, overweight to equal weight, that's a downgrade, initiate buy, and then buy to neutral. So I don't know, it looks like the enthusiasm from the analysts has pulled back, with Bank of America Securities being the first one. Now that price target at 155 is still $30 higher than it is right now. 155 would put it back up about right here, up another 20%. So if that's their target right now, that's still a really aggressive target. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Hey, Bob. Hey, Jean-Louis. Happy birthday to my mom. Appreciate that. Alex, how you doing, my friend? Glad you made it. First time this year. Peter from the Netherlands. Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, analyst rating doesn't look all that hot. In fact, let's go back into OVTLYR. Let's look at the news, stock news, and pop this open. And what's cool about this is it'll tell you the sentiment of the news. So AMD news positive earlier today, coming out of Zach's investment research. Another one that was neutral from Zach's. Benzinga was neutral. Seeking Alpha neutral. This is all from today. Positive on proactive investors and negative from Invez, CNBC saying positive. So kind of a mixed bag here. But really, at the end of the day, price is what pays. In fact, we got a sell signal on AMD back in October 16th, which was where? October 16th. Here. So from here to here, here to here, yeah. Down 17% since that sell signal came through an outlier. So definitely something to be aware of. Let's get back to the video here.
And I already know some people would say, oh, is it too late to buy AMD because it was at $120 a couple of days ago, and now it's at $130. Let's be honest here, those $10 won't really make that much of.
So this is my opinion. Take it as you want, but I wouldn't be buying anything at all until we start to see the bottom, right? Now, that may be the bottom right there, okay? How do you quantify that bottom? We talked about the moving averages, right? When those moving averages start crossing back up, that you could consider a bottom. That doesn't mean it's going to be a bottom forever, but it is a bottom, you know, for now, right? So this is a good example, right? So in March, all those moving averages that cross down and down and down, and then you can see them starting to come back in flatline, right? When that spread between the moving averages, when that compresses, that means the moving average trend, the trend of price is changing direction. So that's a really, really good indicator that, hey, you know what? There may be a change in sentiment here. And it did go up, but then at that point, the downtrend continued. So I mean, I would not sell anybody to buy it at this point. Maybe if it can flirt with 140, 135 to 140, hang out there for a minute, maybe. But I mean, this isn't like a very obvious downtrend. I lost so much money betting against trends like this, right? The best example I could ever give was the second time I blew up my account was in gold, and gold was in a very obvious downtrend, exactly like this. And I was following these people on Twitter saying how it was the very best time to ever buy gold ever in the history of mankind. It's a generational low. It's only going to go up from there, right? No, it continued to go down and down and down and down. So I lost buttloads of money. I think I lost 2/3 of my account on that one trade. Clearly I didn't understand risk controls, but if this is where you're deciding to get in, just keep those risk controls in check. Sebastian, good to see you.
Of a difference if they do come out with strong AI revenue numbers, and actually the client side of the business might also help them throughout the year. So let's talk about all of that in this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if not, really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description. And what was during the presentation, all the information came through press releases. There is an explanation for that. I'll get to that later in the video. So first up, we start here with Ryzen 9950X3D and the Ryzen 9900X3D desktop processors. They will be available in Q1 2025. Both will utilize the second-gen AMD 3D V-Cache technology, promising excellent performance for gaming and content creation. They also told us, and this again is based on AMD's own benchmark data, this is going to be the world's best gaming processor. They compare it to Intel Core i90. Of course, once these products get to, reviewers will get the true benchmark data. Moving on to the 9000HX series, which are desktop and workstation replacements. We've got 3 of those right here. And then they unveiled the Fire Range HX3D. Of course, I mean, if you thought this would be enough, 9850HX, no, we now need 9955HX3D because, the more numbers and letters, the better. Moving on to the handheld gaming segment, they announced the Z2 series processors for, here they give a couple of examples, Lenovo Legion Go, Asus Republic of Gamer, and Valve Steam Deck. I don't think this Steam Deck 2 will get this cheap. So they said the following: significant and growing total addressable market, more OEM adding designs in market, and, battery life, software, and performance leadership. To be honest, I mean, it's still a very, very niche market, in my opinion. Maybe for those of you watching, you've tested out, maybe you own one.
It's actually what I was wondering, what sort of market is this, right? You've already got the cell phone market, you've already got the tablet market, and now you're trying to get the what do they call those? The Sega handhelds. I had one of those. I remember saving up my allowance to buy one of those. Not the Game Boy. God, I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, I love that thing. Yeah, I wonder how much of a market that really is. I don't know.
One of these devices. Let me know what the experience is, and let me know why you're basically wanting to buy this over a PC, laptop, gaming laptop, or just an Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to buy one of those instead of a gaming laptop? I mean, you can do so much more with the laptop than just play a couple games, right? You could stream YouTube videos just like this.
Here as well, you've got three different types: Z2 Extreme, Z2, and Z2 Go. The main differences are with the 8 cores, 16 threads. The Z2 Go has 4 cores with 8 threads. Then the big difference between the Z2 and the Z2 Extreme is not the 5.1 or 5.0 gigahertz max boost. No, it's the difference between the graphics cores. It goes from 16 to 12. Moving on to AI PCs and AI laptops, we've got...
I didn't realize that we were going to get into such computer specs on this video.
AMD Ryzen AI 300 series, and we also got the AMD Ryzen AI Max series. Now, when you think you're getting Max, no, there is even one step above Max, if that makes any sense. There is Max plus 395. So you've got Max 385, Max 390, and then Max plus 395. Maximum is the maximum. I don't get the maximum plus, but okay, a branding stuff. Then on the left, you've got the AMD Ryzen AI 7 350 and the AI 5 340. This is on RDNA 3.5 graphics. Did you compare the Max Plus 395, which has a codename Strix Halo, to the MacBook M4 Pro? And to be honest, their own benchmark data here does show some promising results. They also claim that they can run a 70 billion parameter model, and it's up to 2.2 times faster AI performance tokens per second. They compare it to the NVIDIA RTX 4090 24 gigs one. Moving on to the part that was not showed during the presentation, and that's of course the new GPUs available in Q1. So we've got the RX 9070 XT and the RX 9070. The reason why they did not talk about it during the presentation is because of this. This is a conversation between the folks at Tom's Hardware and AMD. Just to set the record straight, to begin with, the lack of RDNA 4 in the press conference has nothing to do with product development or any of that. The chips are in the lab and they are performing well. It's hitting all the targets in terms of performance and power. You'll see many of our board partners showing off their designs, so they'll all be out there talking about products that they have coming from the RDNA 4 family products during CES. They explained that the keynote was only 45 minutes long, and with a slew of other products to announce, the company simply couldn't dedicate enough time in the presentation to the new GPUs to correctly frame the product. Ultimately, they would have only had about 5 minutes to introduce the new GPUs. But to be honest, it's really up to them. They could have basically switched a couple of things here and made the segment about GPUs longer than the other segments, because I mean, I think this is more important than what they announced, but okay. They continue by saying here, graphics products and graphics launches are complicated, and there's a lot that has to be explained to really do it justice. We wanted to make sure as we launch RDNA 4 that we do it justice, and we cover the hardware improvements, the technology, the software, the FSR4, and the driver enhancements. All of that needs to be covered to really satisfy what gaming enthusiasts care about most. We made a lot of decisions in RDNA 4 that are different from prior generations. We know that most gamers buy graphics cards that are well south of $1,000, and we built the RDNA 4 architecture really from the ground up to make sure that we're delivering features and the performance and capabilities that gamers in the largest volume segment of the market care about most. Some very, very positive comments here. Now, unfortunately, we do not get any pricing data. We only get these couple of screenshots here. So AMD RDNA 4 architecture will be optimized, supercharged, improved, and better. It's going to use the 4 nanometer process from TSMC. Now,
again, I thought this was going to have more stock related content, so apologies for all the computer guys out there, or non-computer guys and gals out there who are watching this like, what? Listen, I'm in the same boat.
Now, this part right here, the Radeon branding for RDNA 4 explains a lot and also does not explain a lot, if that makes any sense. So on the left here, you've got NVIDIA, the RTX 4080, 4070 Ti.
That's a stock NVIDIA. Let's talk stocks. Let's go look at stocks. NVIDIA's down 5.7% today. So NVIDIA made some announcements yesterday and it got a positive reception, but then it got absolutely creamed right after that, right? It went up close to close 3.4%. Close to the high up over 5%. But then from the high yesterday, do it this way, from the high yesterday to the current price, down 7.3%. And then it's sitting on top of this order block right here. Now, if you're not familiar with order blocks, what these are big institutional orders that are waiting to be filled at certain prices. And basically they're created on a candle and they wait there until price comes back in. And then they're going to start churning. They're going to start getting filled. And that can and has shown to be an extremely effective way to measure support and resistance, where you're not just throwing a random chart on the screen, but you actually have data to back it up. So there is a solid order block sitting right there. Peter says, Their processor uses too much power. That was the news. Oh, gotcha. That was the news. So, I mean, taking a look at, let's do this. I had a couple notes out here. Hey, by the way, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Let's go analyze AMD stock real quick. So we're going to look at a handful of things. We're going to look at the market trend, the market and sector breadth, the stock's current trend, current buy and sell signals, the behavioral heat map, the news sentiment, analyst ratings, which we already covered the analyst ratings, the news sentiment. Let's go look at the behavioral heat map. So one thing that's really cool inside of OVTLYR is it will show you if people are getting more greedy or more fearful. In fact, where's that slide at? You might have heard Uncle Warren say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. And we've built a way on how to measure that. And in fact, AMD is getting deep in the fear category, right? So the sell signal that came in October, it was moderately greedy, but then we're looking, so this goes from a scale of 0 to 50. And you can look right here and see what that value is. It's currently around R28, so red 28, so 28 out of 50 on the fear sector or fear scale right there. So it's getting pretty deep in the fear. And the last time we hit this level was back in May, and it went sideways before popping up and then going back down. So yeah, definitely some fear out there. But if you want to be a contrarian there, that it's getting pretty fearful. Maybe that is the bottom. Let's see what else. So let's look at the market and sector trend there. So the market trend, we'll cover this more in a little bit, but the market trend is trending down now. It's an official trending down trend. You've got the 10 under the 20, prices under the 50 again. This is where I start to look for shorts at this point. So yeah, I wouldn't be buying anything at this. I would not be buying anything when the market is going down. Super easy way to look at it is a rising tide lifts all ships. A sinking tide shows who's swimming naked. So yeah, a bunch of people are about to be swimming naked if they don't know how to control their risk. So definitely be aware of that. Talked about the buy and sell signal. Talked about the current trend of the stock may have found a bottom. Let's go back to AMD. It may have found a bottom right here. And talking about order blocks, right? What would happen in this case is a sell-off, and it might just bounce over here a few days, or it could absolutely blow right through that order block. We don't actually know what's going to happen. And that's the thing with being a trader, is that you have to be okay with whatever happens, right? You don't have to know what happens in the future to know how to make money. What you have to know is how to control your risk. And then whenever a trade's working out, letting it run without getting emotional and trying to take it off. Let's go back. Was there anything else we want to cover? Oh, let's talk about the outlier results and capital efficiency on AMD. I'm curious. I haven't looked at this yet. Okay, so outlier shows 46% returns. Buy and holds at 163. So this one didn't overperform in buy and hold, but still 46% returns is not too shabby, especially if you're holding it down 18% at this point. So let's do a video ranking real quick on this, okay? So in the chat, these are the video rankings here from 1 to 10. Nobody gets a 7. Let me know what your thoughts are. And don't base your thoughts on my thoughts. My vote on this is, I would say, a 6. It's decent. It covered a lot. The video covered a lot of details on the announcement, right? All the specs. But for me, it didn't do a whole lot, right? I mean, I am a computer nerd, but that went pretty deep down the rabbit hole over there with all the numbers. So let's shift gears a little bit and let's do today's member highlight. Alex gave it a 5. That's okay. Not everyone's going to be a banger. Let's go look at today's member highlight in the Discord. So in the Discord, we like to take a look at what's going on out there and just have a conversation. It looks like there was a lot of people chatting on what is this called? A lot of people chatting on like space stocks. Dave was talking about how well he's doing with those. Ryan, new to the channel, says he's based in Boston and watching NMRA. So Ryan was also asking how to understand the signal. So let's do this. Let's take a minute and let's go into the watch list on OVTLYR. So inside of OVTLYR, we have the watch list page right here, and you have the bull list and the bear list. The bull list is all the buy signals that are coming through today. The bear list is all the sell signals that are coming through today, and they're organized by date. You can expand right here and see additional information. Like the overlay, what the overlay is right here. So if it's in a downtrend, it's going to have a red overlay. An uptrend will have a green overlay, and a sideways trend will be a white overlay. And it tells you stock price, things like that. Now, if you want to take this and put it on steroids, I would suggest going over to the screener. So in the screener, it's the watch list on steroids. Just at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And you can save your screeners, right? So let's say I want to look at my outlier bullish screener. It's going to go through and you can tell it whatever sector you want, industry you want, outlier signal return. You'd always want to click that as positive. Capital efficiency, average daily volume, etc. You can fill all this in and then really see what is like the most ideal stock out there. So definitely take a look at the screener. And then we could look at one of these that pulls through like AAP. Let's look at AAP. And Peter also says a 5. Then once you get into AAP, you can look at the, take a second to load. There we go. The signal coming right down here. You see that green overlay in the background. You can see how the heat map is moving, right? From a lower greed value to a higher greed value, which is what you want to see. You want it always moving towards greed or towards fear, depending on if you're going long or short. And then your market breadth down here for the sector. In fact, let's go to that sector breadth real quick on AMD. I didn't cover that. Sector breadth has been really pushed down. I mean, the sector breadth is only at 35%. So 2 out of 3 stocks are showing a sell signal. But if we add in the moving average of the sector breadth, you can see it actually is starting to cross back over. So moving average, I'm sorry, the bull list is starting to show some strength behind it. So AMD might have some legs. We'll have to see. So be sure to share your stories in the Discord, right? We're always here trying to give you the best experience possible. And the first rule of OVTLYR is you tell everybody about OVTLYR, and also hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Now back to trading in the OVTLYR trading room. So real quick, what is OVTLYR and how does it work? Like I said earlier, old Uncle Warren, he'd say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. And OVTLYR shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the OVTLYR move happens. And you can get into it as well for just 82 cents a day. And that special pricing is going to end on January 31st. So we're going to take a look at my style of trading that I call the golden ticket trading strategy. And it always starts with the market. Now I want to see the 10 over the 20, price over the 50 on the SPY. So let's go to the SPY real quick. Continuing to sell off here. The 10 is under the 20, price is under the 50. This is potentially a short setup for me. So let's go to the next step. Breadth. So let's go to the market breadth. So I've got the market breadth pulled up here on the full stocks, and I added the 10 EMA. So remember, the green line is how many stocks are on the bull list, how many stocks are on the bear list. So if it's at 100, every stock is on the bull list. If it's at 0, every stock is on the bear list, off the bull list. And we can see this is actually curled up and starting to get more bullish on the market breadth, if you can believe it. It's not very bullish, right? It's still at just 40% right now, but the moving average of the bull list is actually starting to go back up. So for me, that actually is a disqualifier, right? Because I want to see the market trend be bullish or bearish. Let me rephrase that. I want to see the market trend be bearish. I want to see the market breadth be bearish. And I also want to see the SPY signal, the S&P 500 buy or sell signal. In fact, let's go back to the homepage, the watch list. It's still at a sell signal. So really the only thing I'm waiting on now is market breadth to turn back around, because this did turn and be bullish. Now, for me personally, I'm so content with sitting on the sidelines, right? I haven't traded since the election, and I'm okay with that, right? When you are a trader, one of the things you must realize is that part of trading is not doing anything, right? Waiting until your signals come. In fact, one of my mentors, Mark Minervini, one of the market wizards that I learned from, he says, wait and cash for proper setups. How long? As long as it takes. And it looks like right now, there's no trade setup for me today, but that's all right. Tell me what you're trading in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. And come back tomorrow where we will save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. And let us know if you need anything over in the Discord. Have a fantastic afternoon. We'll talk soon.